Everybody, welcome back to another allcounselors.com training and live event. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to my heart, your 2021 marketing plan to grow your practice. And I'm really excited about this because this is going to be highly interactive, highly practical. So I need you to hit the chat button and dialogue back and forth with me. In fact, I'm going to have a couple of polls here just so we can I can figure out where you're at and give you the best help. And as always at allcounselors.com, we want to be very practical. So post questions, whatever you want, where I'm going to be watching that throughout the webinar. So let's get started. So my name is Corey Miller. I'm co-founder of allcounselors.com. My past is I had a multi-million-dollar, started and grew to a multi-million-dollar software company in 2008 until 2018. We were acquired by a bigger company, and this is chapter 2 for me, helping out therapists and counselors and clinicians. I love to talk about entrepreneurship, and I love to talk about digital marketing, so that's perfect for today's webinar. And then, part of doing this for counselors is we at All Counselors want to help obliterate the stigma around mental health so that others like me, I'm in counseling, I have a counselor, meet almost every 2-3 weeks, can get help and begin their healing journey with professionals like yourself. I'm also married to a budding counselor. She graduates this month. I'll be studying for her tests and certifications and all that in 2021. Thanks to Integrative Life Center. You can go check out integrativelifecenter.com and integrativelifenetwork.com. There are gracious sponsors for today's webinar. Okay, some real quick outcomes. I wanted to put this webinar on the schedule because if you're like me, you wait until the last minute and then start thinking, okay, marketing, I need to grow my company. Like, I'm just trying to get, things going and finish 2020 strong. And now, Corey, you're talking about my 2021 marketing plan, but I'm really excited that you all have registered for this and come to this. And if you're watching the video later, that you're interested in this subject. I want you to get inspired, and I want you to have just 2 to 3 ideas that you're going to put into place for your practice to grow it in 2021. But as I said in the beginning, this is going to be highly interactive. I need you to hit the chat there and share some answers. And I've got some interactive polls too to make it even easier because I want to help. I need to know where you are, what you're interested in, what lies ahead for you, what problems and obstacles are in the way to give you the best help. And I'm going to reserve a ton of time. This isn't just going to be me talking to you, but a ton of time to get to specific questions that you have in this webinar today. So I hope you'll open up your chat button at the bottom of the Zoom app and get ready. Okay, so first question is, how do you want to grow in 2021? And what I mean by that is there's something that you want to do. You've arrived here today, something you want to achieve. And if I boil it down to it all, it's all that mostly all of us want to make more money. And I put revenue here. But we have a philosophy at all counselors, which is do good in the world and you should do well in the world. So do good. It's what you all do every day in your practice. And I believe you should be very well compensated for it. You should make great money and awesome money. And so is it more revenue? Is it more clients? Is it more referrals? Or is it, I put up here even start to potentially start publishing or something like that. I'm going to put a poll up now real quickly. Just fill that poll out and tell me what you're looking for to do in 2021. So click that real quick and we'll go on. And these polls are trying to help you as a group to get more focused from my experience and expertise to give you tips and strategies that you can use. All right, so we got more revenue and more referrals. Okay, thank you so much for doing that. And more clients, more revenue, and the top one was more referral. Let's definitely go back to that. So great stuff. Thank you all for doing that. Okay. Now, I know, and by the way, hit the chat. And if you want to add more context to this, please do that and share it to panelists and attendees if you could, so we can all see that. But okay, so more referrals, absolutely. So I always think through, okay, you take your plan and you go, this is what I want to do in the next 365 days. And there's typically something in the way of that. And so I like to talk about obstacles because they're the keys to actually getting things done. So here's my question for you. What are the obstacles in your way? Time, skill and knowledge, money, energy and effort. Sometimes that's mine. Like I might have time, but I just don't have energy. You all are with clients. Likely, I'm going to guess, doing a lot of telehealth right now. Probably tired at the end of the day. So I get that. So if you could answer this poll for me, and then we'll keep moving on, just so I know. Okay, 2 of you. Yep. All right. Energy. I totally get that. Okay. With that in mind, I'm gonna try to help do the thing, share things that maximize your time and energy. Okay. Skill, knowledge, money, energy. Thanks so much. Okay. All right. Now, so real quick, I'm just trying to get to this so I can get you better help. Third one is, what do you have more of? So I just asked the opposite of it is, what don't you have? But what do you have? Some of you said energy, but what do you have more of? Okay, skills, knowledge. I also put time, money, energy. Okay. All right, the skills and knowledge, I'm curious about you that have said skills, knowledge, and time, but the skills and knowledge, we're talking about therapeutic practice, or do you know specific marketing skills? If you could put that in the chat, that'd be awesome. But thank you so much for that. Okay. Now this one I don't have a poll for, but I'm kind of curious. So most things in private practice come back to clients, one-on-one clients, or maybe you have a group product or something service that you do. But I'm curious, how do you get new clients? Now, from the work we've done at All Counselors and the discussions we've had with many counselors, is you built your business probably at the beginning through a lot of referrals. Maybe there was a psychologist or another therapist that was booked up and needed to work your way, and that's how you got started. That's the one we typically see. I didn't put a poll up for this, but if you want to put that in the chat, that'd be awesome. The reason why I asked the how do you get new clients question is because if you want to grow your practice, I boil it down to, you want to make more money, then it's fairly simple right now. It's more clients. You can either charge more or you can get more clients, right? Those two options. It's key for me to know, or to you to know more so, is how do clients get to you in the first place? Can you track those sources back? Is it one therapist in your city or hometown? Is it directory listings? Do you get a lot of people coming from your website? And even with your website, maybe somebody has, unless you've done search engine optimization really well, somebody has referred you and given you an email or their website or something like that. If you could share that, that'd be awesome. But I'm going to go with it. Probably it's referrals, which is going to make some of the suggestions I have in this webinar, I think, even better for you. Okay, thank you. Maria Nella says, I get referrals from diverse sources. That is awesome. That's a bedrock, I think, of any business. It's word of mouth or referrals from good, trusted sources. Okay, so I just want to cover the base and not assume that you've been doing this or these things. I don't want to assume anything for right now. I want to help you grow your practice. And so covering the essentials, the foundation, are these things. Now, some of these I've heard, some of these I just know as a business person in the world. Referrals or word of mouth is huge. And I know that specifically for private practice in mental health. For sure, over and over, I hear that at number one. And word of mouth or referrals is absolutely key in almost every business that I can even think of, that you want people to recommend you or refer you to others. I do that quite a bit. So building that network, I think, should be, especially if you're early on, always be building relationships and networks with other professionals in your area. And so, just to say on your plan is like reaching out and growing or starting new relationships with people that do what you do in the world. You might even know a certain psychologist or therapist, clinician is super, super swamped and busy. It might be a time just to reach out. Hey, I know you're busy. If you're taking any, if you're not taking any clients, I've got a little bandwidth over here. But just starting those conversations, I know, is absolutely huge. Directory listings. In fact, I found my counselor through Psychology Today. So are you listed on those directories that you know about, that you've gotten, clients from? And then I talk about this in another webinar at all counselors, but do you have your Google My Business profile listing set up? One, is it set up? And two, does it have enough information? Have you updated it, went in there and linked that? And now the Google My Business thing is just basically that. It's that, if I type in plumber, if I can type right, I'm going to get this little map here. The same goes for therapists. Your Google My Business profile is basically that. And the best news of all, it's free. Now, you can see like this one has some reviews. This one has some reviews. You need to keep your Google My Business profile up. And I'm going to give you a link in the chat right now. But if you just say Google My Business, this is where you can go get that free profile. And now I know, because of the there's a stigma already out there, and the sensitivity and confidentiality is, clients probably are maybe reluctant to give you reviews, but I'll tell you, these reviews, it's part of Google's algorithm currently, that if you have reviews, that's part of their ranking strategy too. It's geographic based specifically, but if you get reviews, that definitely helps you. Okay, so Google My Business listing, if you just done that, that's just table stakes. Even in the era of telehealth and COVID, by the way, Google has updated Google My Business to include COVID updates. So if you're doing telehealth, they can book through your site, make sure you're linked, and all that is updated on your Google My Business profile. And then the last is a simple website. I just did a training on a one-page website just to get you started. It's in the allcounselors.com vault. So you can go back and look at that, look at the slides and everything, but I share some tips about that. But making sure you at least have some semblance of website. So whatever your name is, for instance, I own my own domain name, or whatever your practice name is, making sure you at least have something on the web. That's going to be your digital headquarters. Now you might have a social profile, but I never tell people to only have that. Those are what we call social outposts, having social media profiles out there. Maybe you have a Facebook page for your practice, but you need an online home on your own domain name. And the difference is rent versus owning. You own your website, you own your domain, you're hosting, all that kind of stuff if you use WordPress or Squarespace or something like that. But you rent your profiles on your social media networks. So just know, like, things can change, algorithms can change. In fact, the paid advertising person I work with got his Facebook account disabled last week, and it's blown everything up in his world because you're renting over there, you own your website. Okay, so those are some of the covering the marketing bases. Now, so I'm gonna do this next poll before let me share. I'll just share you this here. I think one of the best ways therapists can get your name out there, can grow your practice, is to press publish. Now, I asked earlier about your, do you have time? Do you have these type, skill sets, all that kind of stuff? Do you have the energy and things like that? Now, this costs time and effort, a little bit of money, but it costs time and effort for you. So here's some of the things I'm going to say. I'm going to put a poll up and right after I kind of unpack these to see which ones interest you most. And if there's another area you'd like me to go to and talk about, please post that in the chat or the Q&A button right below the Zoom, on the bottom of the Zoom app here. But I say press publish. That's part of my story why I'm here today. In 2006, I started a blog that was in my area of expertise at the time, which was basically communications work for a nonprofit. And so I started a blog started push and publish. I got past the perfectionism and also the worry about the trolls and the critics online, and I pushed publish. And I'll tell you, I most of my career and business success has come from that bold step of just pushing publish and keep pushing publish. Now, I think it's one of the best ways to establish your name, your credibility, your authority by doing it consistently. So you might say, I want to be interviewed by the media. I want, when they talk about a mental health subject, I want my local TV station to think of me. If you're pressing publish consistently through these different channels that I mentioned, that I've listed here, you have a more, you're out there, in the world pressing publish. And I've been on the other side of this where that particular news outlet is looking for someone that they know can be coherent and share their expertise on the subject. Well, if you've been publishing, regularly, let's say a podcast, they can go back and go 30, 40, 50 podcast episodes. Oh man, this person knows what they're doing. Same thing with online video. I put Instagram or online video. So for instance, like if you're just good at, you talk all day with your clients, but if you're good at just the spoken word and it's a little bit tougher for you to write, then queuing up, you can actually do this with Zoom. I've done YouTube videos with Zoom where I pull Zoom up, I press record, start talking, and then stop and upload that to YouTube or whatever channel you want to go on. But doing publishing consistently in all these different specific areas. I've got blogging here. I talk about my own story, writing an ebook, doing a podcast, all those type of things are just, and if you do them consistently, are the ways to get your word out there. Now, think about this. In year 2 of my business, my software business, we were very early in WordPress. Actually, it was a WordPress product company, software company, and we helped build add-ons for WordPress. Well, in year 2, we had put all these products out. People started saying, "Are these guys and gals still in business?" kind of thing, and it hurt us because we were working, but they didn't see us working every day. And so what we did was we started publishing, and we did a live show every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, and we just turned on the live stream, started talking about what we're doing, and it was our way to just say we're still here and relevant in so many ways. Blogging, posting on social media, let's say it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever venue you choose, podcasting, all those things, just continue to share the world to the world that you're out there and still doing good stuff by offering good tips, good things that come out of your practice. Maybe you see themes consistently within your practice. Publishing through any of these scenarios can be a great way to just multiply your expertise. And what I love about the internet is, just like today, we do this once, you get the recording, get the slides, you can do all kinds of stuff with that. So you might like to do webinars too. I think I put that in here, or presentations. We'll be doing more on writing an ebook and then building to the writing a book. But I'm just kind of curious. I'm going to launch this poll. Which of these stand out to you? And I'm asking more questions than I'm answering right now because we need to get, I want to help you all think through what things interest you, what things areas might be a great impactful win for you to do. So I've got the poll up if you'll just real quickly press and record whichever one you're interested in. So I see podcasting, building my network of referrals. I love that. That one I think needs to be absolutely base for sure. Okay, I'll leave that up for a second. So that's good. Okay, podcasting and being interviewed. So I probably should have broke being interviewed out, but I'm sure you're used to in your practice speaking and sharing this. That's not a surprise to me. Okay. All right, thanks for sharing that. So podcasting or being interviewed, that is excellent. Okay, so if you want to nuance and tell me, is it, you really intrigued by doing a podcast, or if you want that the being interviewed part out, let me know in the chat here so I can help really focus in. But here's some tips. I think, as I mentioned, I built my entire career, continued to do it on developing great content and pushing publish. At All Counselors, you see that too. And we've got our engines working for writing, sharing presentations like this, and actually doing podcasting too. So we're doing several of the channels. We're building to that, I should say. We haven't done it just yet. So here's some tips on publishing. Since a couple of you were interested in podcasting in particular. So first, you're probably in this and you don't recognize this and think, like some of your strengths you may gloss over and other go, no, you're actually the expert on that. You just are so good at it. You don't, and interface with a lot of people that you might see that this is a strength. But what are the areas of expertise in your practice? Do you focus on young adults? Do you focus on married couples or relationships? What are those areas of expertise? Are you, really, really, deep in trauma work or depression or anxiety or eating disorders? What are those areas of expertise? And you're welcome to put those in the chat here. But this is when when people are interested in publishing, particularly online, I ask some of these questions. And then actually, what do you want to be known for? So think through, the Channel 4 has called you. They want you to speak about this subject that you're very passionate about. What would that be? You're subject matter expert, and you're expert on things that are always part of our life, mental health, but even more exaggerated and exasperated as a part of our pandemic we find ourselves in. But so if that, TV producer is calling you, what is the thing that they want you to come talk about? And those are two quick questions to just think through and find an area that you might be interested in to keep publishing consistently enough to be found. Just a quick sideboard. By doing these type of things, one time I think I wrote about social media and narcissism, quick blog post. And I basically said I leaned into it a little bit because it's the era of personality, internet personalities in particular. I didn't even know that was a thing, but so I did that. And then CNN, a producer from CNN called me and interviewed me live on the air. And then, just putting things out there about specific topics, especially if it's a form of something like you take depression, but here's a subset that, those specialty areas within a specialty are pretty key too, because you might end up on somebody's doorstep. I actually interviewed a psychologist earlier this year who really works with school counselors and school psychology. And so I interviewed her because we had this phenomenon going where it's all these, kids that are typically in school in traditional, seats and desks and all that kind of stuff. And then the pandemic hit and now it's all remote learning. And so we talked through some of those things. That's exactly what you want to be positioned when something happens. You want to be that subject matter expert for your area. And the third question I'd ask is what frustrates or even angers you? Like what gets you just fighting mad about mental health or whatever your area of expertise or all those things. And if you find yourself with all of these, like you talk about it quite a bit, it's frustrating things you want to change, that's a great thing to champion in a podcast or a blog or a video series, maybe through Instagram. But I'll tell you, publishing is just like working out. It's just like exercising. Start small and consistent. So think through what is the minimal consistency I can do. Let's say you start with a podcast. Is it once a month or twice a month? And then back it up from there. But think realistically and start small and graduate to bigger and more. But just know, like, there's no such thing as an overnight success. You've heard that 100,000 times, but everybody starts somewhere, and start where you are now. Like maybe you only have 5 people on your email list, or what, your website traffic is, 150 people a month. That's a great place to start from. But start where you are and know that you have all of these, relationships and contacts. You start putting things out in the world that'll build from there. But again, I say consistency is key, but passion and interest. That's why I started with the questions I did. keep you consistent. And always, 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 this is the biggest trap every professional, not just mental health therapists and clinicians make. It's my own I have to fight with is perfectionism. That you'll think you start recording your first episode and you've got to be perfect. That's why I like doing live stuff. You can't be perfect. You can practice, you can rehearse, you can prepare, but you can't be perfect. You're going to mess up, just like I have today. Um, so I want to switch gears for a second, and I've asked some of the questions um, here to kind of formulate, but I want to make the next part of our webinar really highly interactive and answer your questions. There are some good questions put into the forum. Said, what do you want to learn today? And I want to get to those and make sure I cover as best as possible. But these are some things I've just thought about how to help you think through your own marketing plan. But I highly suggest for 2021, pick three. Pick 1 to 3 things that you're going to work on. Don't eat the elephant. Take it one bite at a time and don't try to do every single thing, but pick the top 3 most effective and tactics to help build your practice and employ those. But just pick 3. Don't try to do everything. And as always, please share those with us at allcounselors.com. We're here for you. We've dedicated this company, this business of what we're doing, the community membership, to you. Real quick before I start taking some questions, you can sign up for your free membership today at allcounselors.com/join. We're going to be putting out more live events and training like this. We're here for you. You hit our contact form, and we're here for our members to help you grow your practice and yourself. And on that note, in 2021, early 2021, we're working on CEUs for all counselors. So be sure and sign up for our free membership today, and we thank you for doing so.